Well, hello again. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you happen to be looking at this video. As many of you already know, and some of you might not know, this might be the first time you've ever tuned in, but I am Marvinetta Woodley Penn, and I am your host for All Stories Matter. You know, I started this podcast when I first came to Kalamazoo because I've always believed that everybody has a story, and all of those stories matter. It is so important for us to tell our stories because if we don't, guess what? Somebody else will. And trust me, they will not get it right. There will be little details that they might leave out. There will be connections that they just don't get because they don't know your story. And no one knows your story better than you. So why not be the author of your story? That's why I do the show. And that's why I have some of the most amazing guests in the whole world. Yes, not just in Kalamazoo, not just coming up from Chicago like my guest today, but I have some of the most interesting people in the whole world. Now, I'm going to take a brief step back because I just found out yesterday that one of the young ladies that I interviewed, I think it was last year, made her transition. And I'm with the group that she belonged to, and they want to use the podcast where I had her tell her story to celebrate her life. And that's the second time that has happened since I had my show. And it just really touches me deeply. I didn't know that kind of thing was going to happen when I started the podcast, but we never know. We only know and understand looking back. Then we connect the dots. That's why it's so important that we take time to connect the dots now. And without further ado, I've got a young lady that I have known since I was in college at Eastern Illinois University in the early 70s. She's been my friend. We've been on stage together. We have done so much together. We've traveled. Went on the Abraham Hicks cruise together, went throughout Europe together, having a blast. She is my friend, and she has a wonderful story. Ms. Leslye Logan in the house today with me. I'm so happy to have you, my dear friend, on All Stories Matter. How are you, darling?
Thank you, Marvinetta. I am doing wonderfully well.
Great.
Yes,
You just drove up today.
I'm doing great, yes.
You drove up today, right?
Absolutely.
Drove up and just decided I'm going to jump in my car. It's going to take me a few minutes because I had a couple of things happen to me, but that's okay because nothing can keep me down.
That's right. I was limping my way here.
So what were you limping? What happened?
My grandniece turned 10 Saturday, and her parents, her moms, had a weekend. What is it? I forget the name. What do you call it? Oh,
just a weekend getaway.
It was a weekend getaway.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And we were in the pool. I was being the super auntie, and there's a little slide, maybe 6-7 feet.
Yeah,
little bitty slide. And two of my grandnephews asked me to please take them on the slide. I'm like, oh, okay, it's a little slide. So I took one, the 3-year-old had 3-year-old on my right hip, 4-year-old on my left hip. You know, I'm trying to be the super mom, super auntie, I should say.
Yeah.
We go down the slide, and we're all just having a grand time. But there was a drop, maybe about 6 or 7 inches, and I was afraid that the kids were going to go under.
Yeah.
So I was trying to hold them, embrace them. I didn't realize it, and my leg bent under me.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah. And I pulled my calf muscle.
Ah.
So the hike that we were going to do at Starved Rock the next morning, I couldn't do.
Oh.
But that was okay because we had a ball in the pool. But
Good.
I worked on my leg for the rest of the night, rushed home because I had training, which I thought was going to be 4-hour training of scuba,
Yeah.
adaptive dive buddy training
Yeah.
Sunday morning.
Uh-huh.
It turned out to be 6 hours.
Oh,
the
goodness.
good news,
Yes.
the good news was, in practicing to become this adaptive dive buddy, Sunday I was a paraplegic, so I didn't have to use my legs.
Oh,
Water is so therapeutic. By the time I got out of the pool,
yes.
I felt little or no pain. Well, no, I did feel pain, but it wasn't pain like it was before. I was barely able to
Yes.
walk coming in there. And coming out, I was able to walk almost without a limp, and the pain was so minimal.
That
So,
is
yeah,
awesome.
it
So
just,
that's
it just confirmed my
Yes.
feeling that water is therapeutic. Our bodies are mostly water.
water,
Right.
indeed.
So, to have that connection with water, it's amazing.
Yes, so we're going to get to that part of Leslie's story, how she became a friend of the water, how she just adapted to the water. She got in that water and has not gotten out. And being in the water has taken her here and taking her there and taking her everywhere. She's going to talk about that in a minute. And she mentioned something about adaptive diving, and we're going to have her do a deeper explanation on what that's all about. But Leslye, you're from Chicago, born and raised in Chicago. Tell me about some of those early years of being in the family, the wonderful family that you were born into. Because I didn't know you way back then. I've heard some of the stories, but tell me a little bit about growing up in Chicago.
Growing up in Chicago, well, I'm in my 70s.
Yeah.
So back then, my family was one of the first, not one of the first, but a middle-class community
Yeah.
that was building up on the south side of Chicago. And our block just started building. I
Yes.
moved into the house that I'm still in now when I was 1.
Okay.
And then I had several friends that their families moved in down the block. And back then, we could go outside when we were like 2 and 3 years old, and the other older brothers and sisters, senior broadnecks, would watch the other ones. When my sister got older, she would watch some of the younger ones. But that's how it was, because everything was safe, and the mothers were in the kitchen fixing and whatever, but they would get out and make sure that we were doing what we were supposed to be doing.
It was all community.
It was all community.
Yes.
And I am still in relationship with those women and men that grew up on the block.
That is so awesome.
94th and Parnell block.
94th and Parnell group. And you guys get together regularly.
Typically, we've been getting together every October around, we don't call it Columbus Day anymore, whatever, but
Indigenous
People Day. Yes. And that is our day. And we get together. So we've done a Las Vegas trip. We've done an Atlanta trip.
Boy.
We've done a Washington, D.C. trip. And then our reunions are always in Chicago, so it's like every other year, whatever. But yeah, we still get together.
We have
a group chat, so that we are constantly, reaching out to tell each other happy birthday. And out of all of us, we've lost 3 now. 70
It
years.
happens.
70 years. That was a long time. But, Denise Higgins. Herbert Johnson, whose birthday is today. And he was a quadriplegic. Start talking about Diveheart. I'll tell you how he was inspirational for me as well.
Yes, it all circles back.
And then
all the connections.
Dear friend Sandy
Yes.
Trish.
That is awesome. You were telling me some things that your dad played a crucial role in your life, as did your mother. But you're always mentioning these little nuggets that your dad gave you. Can you share one of those nuggets with us?
Well, one, growing up, I was asthmatic. I've been asthmatic all of my life. I'm not claiming it anymore. As a matter of fact, I don't claim asthma at all. Because, and that's another story. But I've always had a love for animals. I wanted a cat. I wanted a dog. I wanted a monkey. I wanted a chimpanzee.
A monkey?
Yes. All of these different things.
Okay.
A pony. A horse. And I could never have any of them because I was so allergic to the dander and the dust and all of that.
Yes, yes.
And my dad said, I'm sorry, babe. Every year I'd ask for something else, and I was like, well, maybe if I just change and ask for something different, they'll
If
say
I ask
yes.
for
Yes,
another
they'll
and
say
a
yes,
tiger.
right, a different. I was about to, but I knew that was kind of out of the question. But
South side of Chicago, I don't think so.
Every year it was like Christmas. I was like, okay, I believe in Santa. This is what I want.
Yes.
He said, baby, I'm sorry.
Oh.
You're not going to be able to have any of that. But when you grow up and you don't have parents telling you what you can and can't have,
Yeah.
you can be what you can see.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, I held on to that. I've had dogs. I've had cats. I've ridden horses.
Yeah.
Did barrel racing with the black cowboys.
Barrel racing with the
Yes.
Black Cowboys.
Yes,
Somebody
yes.
who could not even have an animal growing up.
around them.
Or be around
I would
them.
be in the barn in the stalls and
Yes.
having asthma attacks. But I had friends in St. Anne, Illinois, that built a kind of a lean-to barn. A lean-to barn. So
Yeah.
I could kind of groom the horse while not being in a confined
Yeah.
barn or stall like that. So yeah. It's
That
been
is
exciting.
awesome.
It's been exciting.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Oh,
yeah. So
boy. Awesome.
I keep that in my mind.
Keep
My
that
dad
you
said
can
I
be
what I can see.
whatever you can see.
So I visualize everything.
Yes.
I had a real tough time learning to swim, but I visualized
But
myself
you did it. We're going to
swimming.
get to that. Now, we met one another in college, but growing up, you had another name.
Pepsi.
Papsy. Everybody in college knew you as Papsy.
I tried to lose it.
And you tried to lose it. Now tell me the origin of Papsy.
Oh, okay. I had a grandmother, Evelyn Edwards, who was the director of a nursery school called Chase House.
Okay.
And she just read all the time. She was a reader. So she read to us, and I come from a family of educators, basically.
Okay.
So reading was something that was instilled in us.
Yes.
But she came to babysit while my mother was pregnant and delivering my younger brother.
Yes.
So she came to babysit and help my father out. Mm-hmm. While she was there, she was reading stories to us about Native Americans, Hiawatha and some other Native Indian stories. And we always learned the proper name for whatever it was, private
Yes.
parts, whatever. But
Yeah.
So then baby Indian's name was a papoose.
Uh-huh.
And they had like lots of thick dark black hair. And they came in just a little swaddling. So when my mother brought, she was having me. She didn't have my brother.
Okay.
When she had me, and that's what my grandmother, I'm old. I
It's
forgot the
okay,
story,
it's
but
okay.
My grandmother
It
was
was interesting.
babysitting my daughter, my
Sister.
who was
Yeah.
2 years older than me.
Yes. Yeah.
My mom and dad came home from the hospital, and I was all wrapped up in the swaddling clothes with all this little black hair and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And my sister was standing there with my grandmother, and she says, "Oh, other mom, look, mommy and daddy have a papoose."
Oh.
So they started calling me Papoose, and that was my nickname for a lot of years. And then somehow my sister changed it from Papoose to Papsy, and it stuck. And I kept thinking, that's a baby name. Drop that name. Drop that
my
name.
God. So you did not want that name.
Not when I got to be an adult.
Okay. When
I went to college.
When you went to high school, you were okay with it?
Well, no, because it was in an all-girls high school, so there weren't a lot of girls that were from the neighborhood that were there. So I started transitioning into Leslye.
Okay,
Yes,
into
yes,
Leslye with the Y.
Yes, and then when I got to college, I thought, okay, this is cool. I'm a new person. I'm Leslye. But, you always get visitors from home.
Yeah.
And the visitors from home would come in, "Hey, Papsy girl, I missed you, da-da-da." Next thing I knew,
everybody was calling you Papsy.
So,
Because it just fit. It fit your personality.
Yes.
You know, you were small and cute and running here, running there, and we're like, Babsy, like popping around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, I never did lose it.
Okay.
And then I tried again. I mean, I've tried, but it keeps coming. It keeps finding me in these different circles. So
yeah,
I'm like, okay, stop fighting it. You are who you are.
Okay, but
just don't call me a bad name.
Oh, don't call me late for dinner.
Okay.
Okay, that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what are some of the big highlights from grammar school that you think you remember? That kind of that looking back on, you can say, "Wow, I see how this experience really impacted me. I didn't think it impacted me that much, but I think, whoa, that stands out as something from elementary school or high school."
Elementary school. Well,
So you went to an all-girls school
for high school.
for high school, but in elementary
At
school.
elementary school, I went to both Chicago public schools and Catholic schools.
Okay.
The Holy Name of Mary, Rudyard Kipling, and graduated from Joachim, St. Joachim.
Okay.
And then I went to Mercy High School. But in between then, I was always, I called myself the runt of the litter. My mom and dad only had 3 of us, but I was the little bitty one. I was the sickly one. I had asthma. I had pneumonia. I was like, the one who had to be protected, you know. But I didn't want that.
Yes,
I really didn't want that.
Yeah.
And so, and I find with animals in the real life,
Yeah.
when they're afraid or when they're in some kind of situation, they become big. So I had to make myself big all the time in my mind.
Yes.
To make myself big. So I was kind of the protector of my friends. And one time we got into kind of a fight at a roller skating rink. We used to roller skate at St. Thaddeus in the basement at St. Thaddeus.
I remember that.
Okay,
Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah.
And there were some girls from Princeton Park or Loden Homes, I don't know where. But anyway, you know, it was neighborhood stuff. You know, so we got into it. And we had a great big fight.
Really?
Our parents got together. They decided not to press charges or whatever. But we ended up becoming friends.
Oh, wonderful.
From that incident.
Yes. So the girls
made,
from Princeton Park became friends with the girls?
Well, we were, you know, it's across the tracks. We
Okay.
were on one side, right, one side and one side.
Right,
So we were
right.
across the tracks. We had this big fight and all.
Okay.
But we ended up becoming friends.
Yes.
Friendly, yes.
Yeah.
And I kind of just attribute that to me being small and not running away from the fight, which a couple of my friends kind of did, but I stayed. I stayed because I wanted to protect them.
Yes.
And I've always kind of been the one that, even though I'm small, I've always been the one that wanted to be the protector of the people who I thought were maybe slightly less advantaged.
Yes,
than me.
yes.
Or even though I was small, even though I was weak with asthma and that, I still, in my mind, made myself big.
Right.
I made myself big that I could take care of other people, that I could help other people, and I was not going to let anybody be taken advantage of. And it started at a young age, but that was one of the incidents that reminded me that, yes, you're a good person, you look out for your friends, but even though you had a problem with these girls, now you all have worked out your differences, and you all have become friends.
That was so, and the parents, it sounds like the parents had a big role in that, did they?
They told us, "Y'all better not get in another fight." I mean,
So the parents were like, I don't know what's going to happen, but you will not be fighting again.
Girls,
We're done with this fighting.
Fight. We don't.
Yes.
We all are sisters. We are not.
Yes.
Right. So probably they did, but it scared me more that they would probably beat my butt more if I got into a fight, because we weren't fighters.
Right.
We were peaceful.
Yes.
And I didn't start the fight. I was just there to protect my friends.
Yeah.
And we were swinging skates because that time, you know,
Oh,
you
my
came with
God.
the skates
Yeah, you
around
come
your
with the
neck, on your
skates.
back, and all, right? And we swinging skates and all, and I'm like,
little bit,
the
smallest one.
Right. Okay. But it was what I do.
Yes.
So when
Because
we
you
got
are a helper. You are a helper today, and it is your nature to help.
and try to protect and
Yeah.
what have you. Yeah.
Yeah.
In high school, I probably did more to get in trouble and to get my friends in trouble because I went to a Catholic girls, all girls high school.
Yes.
Predominantly white. We, the girls were bused in from all different neighborhoods.
Yes.
Into Mercy High School, and I just remember vividly when Martin Luther King was assassinated. It became so scary for everybody. So they ended school early. They ended up having the buses come in. All
Yes.
the white girls, and they were like, "Are we gonna still be friends? Are we gonna still
Oh.
be friends?" Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, my.
So that was a memorable event. And one of my girlfriends, one of our friends who was a freshman at the time, died on the same day. And I think it was the same day. Pretty much. I'm pretty sure.
How did she die? Do you remember?
She had some kind of illness. I don't know
Yes,
what it
yes,
was, but it
okay.
was something that came back because she had been out of school for maybe about 3 weeks, maybe even a month. And we were all concerned about it. But at the time, you didn't have cell phones. You didn't have, you had to deal with your parents taking you. And,
Right,
it was
right.
no, you don't just, And we were freshmen, so we didn't know each other that well. But because there weren't that many black girls at the school, all of the black girls were close to each other.
Right. But it wasn't like a line of communication.
Correct.
Where you could email or you could send a text. So it was
So it was
an
very
issue.
hurtful because
Yeah.
even when she passed, Carmen Cedar McHarris, when she passed, many of us couldn't even go to the funeral because it was just you shouldn't go to funeral. There was a lot of stuff that we do now that parents try to protect us from and that sort of thing. So
The
we
culture
couldn't
was
show
different.
our emotions and our concern and all of that. But that was kind of
Wow.
tragic for a lot of
Yeah,
us because
I
it all
can
happened right
imagine.
around Dr. King being assassinated, and it was a tough time for us because we were all trying to process all of this
Right.
and figure ourselves out.
Yeah.
But then after that, I still became the bad girl at school.
The bad girl at school.
Yeah, my mother told me, she told us if I have to come up to the school one more time to get you out of trouble, I'm pulling you out of the school. But the stuff that we did was so innocent, but we were just kids. And we were little black girls, and they didn't understand how little black girls did little mischievous stuff.
Mischievous things. Yes. So they blew it up.
It was nothing to harm anybody.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
We were the bad girls. We had
And it was fun.
It was fun. We had spinning contests out the window. And then one of the nuns, because the convent was connected to the school, and she was ill, and she happened to be in the window watching us. We were in the third floor bathroom spitting to see whose spit could hit the ground fast. And that was no harm.
It wasn't harm. It wasn't
no
harm.
But
right.
It's not what ladies do. And we should not have been in there. It was during our lunch hour, too. But we shouldn't have been up on the third floor. We should have been downstairs in the lunchroom.
You guys got up to the third floor.
We did little stupid stuff.
Little
but
things
it was
like
fun.
that. Yeah.
And so we have a bond as well.
I can imagine.
We've had our 50-year anniversary a couple of years ago, but many of us are still very well connected.
Oh, that's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, so it is. And you don't have those relationships anymore.
Yeah.
Like from our neighborhood block, or your high school kids, or even your college. Some of your college friends. But I think I'm so blessed because I've had some really, really, really great relationships along the way.
Yeah.
And, they've just made me stronger and better.
Yeah.
And to be a good girl, because by the time I had kids, I knew what to look out for in their craziness because I had tried.
You had already done
stuff.
it.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, you got to get up pretty early in the morning to pull one over these. It's okay, yeah.
Very good. Oh, I've been where you're trying to go. No, we're not going there.
Not happening. Right.
Very good. So how did you wind up going to Eastern? Because we met at Eastern Illinois University. So how did you wind up going there?
Well, I wanted to go to Spelman. My sister had gone to Spelman.
Okay.
And she had some trouble, not at Spelman, but in a love relationship. It got very, very, very complicated.
Yeah.
So much so that my father, who had connections, ended up getting his CPD friends. We had to have bodyguards, basically, to watch us going back and forth to school. Because she fell in love with a guy who was no good. And he ended up coming to Chicago after my parents pulled her out of the school. So there was no chance of me going any further than anywhere in Illinois.
Okay.
So I had choice of Illinois universities, and Eastern seemed like it was something that would work for me.
Okay.
So when I got accepted, because I kind of messed up in high school with my grades and stuff, I had to come in the early program in I don't know, June or July or something.
The summer.
Go for
It's
the
a summer.
Right, the summer
Okay.
to get my skills up.
Yes,
So
yes.
but once I did that,
Yeah.
stuck with it, went through and graduated, and and was a good kid.
A good kid.
A good
Somewhat.
citizen. Yeah, good citizen. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because I met you in college. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't bad.
Not bad.
Adventurous.
Adventurers want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, we met, and I think we met during the play, Images in Ebony. Was it the play? I think we met during the play. Maybe we did, but I know I've got pictures of us in Images in Ebony on stage.
And all that black, yes.
All that black, and Dr. Rang had put it together. He was he was the speech teacher, but he was also the theater teacher. Yeah. He taught drama, he taught speech, and he was in the drama department. And he wanted to put on this all black production
because
with
Dr.
black
Rang
plays.
Was black.
No, he was white. He was white. Yeah. Dr. Rang, because he had me with in another production. He had me in several productions. He was my speech teacher, and I really liked him.
Okay, I'm mixing him up with somebody else.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody.
Not in theater, right?
Not in theater. No, or the English department. I can't remember, because I was an English major.
Right.
And we're just having a very personal conversation here, but I love it because it's still your story. So, what did you think about being in that production?
Oh, that was exciting. It was exciting because, my sister was an actor.
Okay.
And moved from, after she graduated from high school, after she had her bad experience at Spelman.
Yeah.
She did some work at Loop Junior College.
Okay, Loop,
And she got involved in theater at Loop with the, these names are right on the tip of my brain, but my brain fails me. But there were several drama, theater groups around Chicago.
There was Kumba. There was ETA Theater. X-Bag.
Where she spent a lot of her time and energy, but ended up doing several plays in Loop Junior College, where she and Chuck Smith, who is now directing Ma Rainey's Black Bottom at the Goodman.
At the Goodman in Chicago,
Yes. So he and Lynn, my sister, got together acting, and then he went on to directing. We adopted Chuck as our brother.
Yes.
So Chuck Smith has been my big brother for forever.
Yes.
So my best girlfriend, who was like my sister, Denise, and I used to go to rehearsals with my sister Lynn and Chuck and the rest of them from X-Bag and all of that. And we'd give our comments afterwards, and my sister would get totally irritated. But my mother would basically tell her that Papsy has to come with you. Papsy and Niecy have to come with you because that's the only way you can go and then come back because rehearsals were oftentimes late into the evening.
Indeed.
So she could go if we went, so she was just like, oh, okay. But yeah, so that is the first part that got me interested in acting.
Yeah.
Watching her, watching Chuck, seeing these other people. So when we did Images in Ebony, I was really thrilled to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And to be, again, a black image in the midst of a basically white college, a white university.
It was.
So,
It was, yeah.
Except for yeah.
Because the civil rights movement opened the door for us to go
there.
to predominantly white schools.
Right.
We got in. I got in easily, got money to go. I graduated with almost no debt because at that time they were giving money. They were like, come. We need to meet this quota. Come on. Thank God I went to school during that time. I don't know how I would pay for school these days.
Well, I don't know.
Colleges have just gotten so expensive and kind of, there are other ways to make a living. But I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to be that controversial today.
Okay.
But I have some views on college these days. So let's just go back to your story because I will go off on a tangent talking about something
I'll probably
else.
join you with it.
Yeah. So what were some of the big things that happened for you in college? What can you think of? The moments that really stand out for you?
Well, when you're talking about the racial stuff, when we had the problem with the homecoming queen.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to sit in. Had a lot of news media come down to see what was going on. I mean, she still didn't get it, but we did make a point.
Yes.
And so that was my real first experience of any kind of protest because we knew that we thought that she had the numbers to become the homecoming queen.
Okay.
And they ended up coming up with some kind of, well, this didn't happen or this didn't happen, and it wasn't fair. And we had a huge sit-in at the gym, so at the biggest gym over there.
McAfee.
So, McAfee.
Yes, yeah.
So nothing could go on until we had some kind of resolve. And we still didn't really get a resolve, but we got a lot of attention. The attention made me realize, well, if enough people get together and protest, and it wasn't just the black students that were there. I mean, the white students were joining us as well because they knew that whatever, and I don't even remember what the details were, but whatever, they knew was bogus. It was not right, and they were standing up for us as well. So
very good.
So that was very meaningful for me to let me know that numbers and masses could make a difference with a peaceful protest. All we're doing was sitting down. All we did was sat down, laid down in the gym, and wouldn't move. And yeah, so that was cool.
I don't remember that. I was probably in the library. I was probably studying someplace.
Maybe.
Because I don't think I participated. I know Yvette did.
Yeah.
Yvette is another one. She was one of the ringleaders.
Okay, absolutely. Absolutely.
She's another one of our friends during that time. Yes. Oh, so you were a journalism major, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was a journalism major.
What made you go into journalism?
I wanted to tell the story.
Okay.
Wanted to get the stories out. Wanted to get the stories out.
Okay.
And I tried. When I first graduated, I started working for the Chicago Defender.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. But I also was married at that time. And unfortunately, married and pregnant, I should say. And my husband at the time did not want me doing the beat that I was given, because I was given a beat at the county jail. At the
county jail?
At the
Cook
California.
County?
The
Cook County
26,
jail
yeah.
on 26th Street. Yeah, yeah.
And that was to be my beat.
Oh.
And I had a choice. Stay with him and my child and quit the job. or
Oh.
demand a different beat. How do you demand a different beat? You're just coming in here cold. They're giving you a chance, they're
Right.
giving you a chance or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, and it was difficult at the time because my parents didn't like my husband,
Oh.
and they didn't want me with him. And after the fact, I realized, maybe I should have listened. But in the meantime, all I wanted to do was be a faithful, loving wife and
Yes.
keep the family together. And I was like 5 months pregnant, and I was
Yeah.
going to get 6, 7, 8, 9 before I had this baby. So yeah, I better try to make things work. So
And you met him in Springfield. You had gone to Springfield. I remember being
had
so
an
proud of you.
internship,
You had an
yes.
internship. Tell me about that.
Yes. Well, when I was in college, I applied for an internship, and I actually got it. That was with Dick Durbin.
Dick Durbin. Whoa, okay.
Yes. And again, my ex-husband said that was not a good move, and he did not want me to take that position. Oh, but I had met him before because I had received. I got the internship with Senator Cecil Partee.
Cecil Partee. Yes,
At the
yes,
time.
yes,
So
yes.
that's when I met Donald.
And you were down there for a while working
Yes.
with Cecil Partee, because I remember coming to you had a loft.
Yeah.
It was nice. Your apartment.
I
Oh,
always liked the
yeah.
country. I could look out and see the cows on one side, look out the other
Yes.
window and see the sheep on the other.
I'm like, Leslie's living large down here in Springfield.
Well, it wasn't so large, but it was country. I love the country, girl.
Good.
I mean, I love the animals. I
Yes.
just love being out there in the rolling hills and all. Because at that time, I was living in Chatham, which is kind of a suburb of Springfield. But
Chicago. Yeah.
No, of Springfield, because I was working
Chatham?
in Springfield. Yes, in Chatham, in Springfield, there was a
Okay.
so my loft space was in Chatham.
Okay. It was in outside. It was outside
outside
of
of-
Springfield,
yeah,
and the
you
little
could see
town
the
was
rolling
Chatham.
hills.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
So
Yes.
that helped me get
That
to
was a cute space. But you were there before you met Donald.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I lose track of when I met and all of that, but it was during that time when I was doing the internship for Cecil Partee.
Okay. But then you got an opportunity to be an intern for. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and then Harold Washington was a representative at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I mean, I was there with those guys, and they were friends with my father.
Yeah.
So my father was like, yeah. So they would not, they saw me walking down the street with somebody, they'd be like, Leslye or Pepsi, who is that?
Okay, because they looking out for your dad too.
Yeah, they don't want to come up right.
Yeah.
So I kept kind of down on the on the deal.
Nobody knew. Nobody really knew.
Because I kept.
You
when I
had
was in
to.
that capital,
Yeah.
I kept everything on a professional basis.
Yes,
And
yes.
I know, don't be coming up talking to me or whatever. But that's how I
yes.
met him. He worked for the Department of General Services.
Okay.
At the time, it was Roland Burris was in charge of that.
Oh
so,
God, I remember all those names. What a
Names,
time. Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
My brain is still remembering
awesome.
some of them.
Indeed, indeed. And when you start thinking about it, it all starts coming back. So you have 3 children now.
Yes.
Yes, awesome.
they're-
And wonderful grandchildren.
And one great-grandchild who's about to be 3 years old. Come on now.
All
A
right.
great-grandchild, yes,
All
Brooks.
right. Brooks.
Brooks,
Isn't that
yeah,
awesome? So what do you love most about being a grandmother?
That I can give them back to their mother and father?
That you can give them back.
Okay. That wasn't a nice thing to say. I like being around them, but I like the ability to not have to be responsible for them
Yes.
overnight all the time. I have friends who are retired, like myself,
Yes.
but they spend most of their retirement time helping their kids with their grandkids. And I'm thinking that's so commendable, but it ain't for me.
I
I'm
get it.
living my best life.
Yes.
I had to put my dog down over
Oh,
a year ago,
yeah.
a little over a year ago. Had to put my
Yes.
cat down almost 2 years ago.
Oh,
But what it has done, I miss them both. I
yes.
still come in the house, hey kids, I'm home, but I know they're not going to answer, patter, patter. But the good news is I don't have to worry about dog sitters.
Yes,
I don't have to worry
yes.
about somebody coming in to feed the cat or change the litter box or any of that. So it's really my time now. I'm not responsible for taking care of children,
Yes.
for grandchildren, for parents, for dogs, cats. And I'm not feeling guilty about it because I've done it all of my life.
Very good.
But I still want to give service.
Because you were the protector.
I was the protector.
In school, growing up, you were the one who had to stand up to everybody. So you went through all phases of your life, and now you're like,
serving.
now it's my turn. So we're getting to no, because you were a school teacher.
Yeah, well.
Oh, but before that, tell me about Baldwin Ice Cream. Baldwin Ice Cream
Now,
Company.
that's on my mom's end.
Yeah.
That's on my mom's side.
Okay.
And then on my father's side, my father was in human resources at People's Gas Company.
Okay.
So a lot of the guys in the neighborhood were able to get jobs when they were in high school. And they moved through the ranks, became meter readers, this thing, then moved on up the ranks. And a lot of them still thank my father for that.
Yes.
Because again, in this little community, all we did was help each other.
Yeah,
You know, the Reeds were
networking.
with Commonwealth Edison. They were helping the guys get into work at
Yes.
Commonwealth Edison. My dad was at People's Gas. We had the Simpsons that were CPD. They were helping people get into
Chicago
the
Police Department.
or
Yeah.
helping them get out of trouble if they got in the trouble. But
Yeah.
everybody in the community
Yes.
helped each other. They helped one another. They helped
yeah.
with building. They had masonry, carpenters, electrician. They all the extension on my house. The neighborhood, they built it.
Oh,
all of them.
yes.
But they got together and they did that. So then my mother was also a businesswoman.
Yes.
True businesswoman, but she was sister to my aunt Jolyn Robichaux, who was married to Joseph Robichaux, who purchased Baldwin Ice Cream, and that became the first black-owned ice cream company that was locally produced and distributed in Chicago. And my mother joined in when my uncle died suddenly.
Oh.
My mother stepped in because my aunt really didn't want, this was his dream, so she wanted to keep the company going, so my mother stepped in and she became vice president and sales manager.
Oh,
And
cool.
she did
Yeah.
negotiations with the mom and pop stores, and it started moving really well. And she moved on and went to Dominic's and Jewel and Red Hen Pantry and all of these
All the
grocers.
stores, major grocers in
Yes,
Chicago.
yes, major
Yes.
grocers. So they had, at one point, they had 2 hand-dip ice cream parlors, one on 48th in Indiana, and I worked there for a few years during my transition from
Yes.
not being able to be a reporter at the Defender.
Yes.
So
yes.
hey, look, it was grateful. I was grateful to have family with a business,
Indeed.
and some skills that I could bring to the
Yes,
business. So,
yes.
yeah, so it was
Personal
a-
skills,
so it was-
personable skills.
So it was a win-win situation.
Indeed.
Yeah, so I became assistant sales manager.
Yeah.
And got on ran the route with the to both check on our product in the stores and to try to get more space in the freezer, more
Yeah,
freezer space,
shelf
and
space,
more shelf space, or more, better arrangement. Same thing with Jewel and all that. So it was interesting, and it gave me the opportunity to meet a lot of people,
Yeah.
and like you said, to have those personable skills that were necessary.
Yeah, that theater
Yeah.
teaches you and life teaches you and how to just get up in a minute and make a presentation and keep it moving. Yes, yes.
So, all right, as a teacher, that's exactly what I did. I had a lot of special needs students, and then I had a lot of students who did not have IEPs, but I knew in my heart that they had special needs.
Okay.
So I always tried to teach.
An IEP is an individual educational plan.
I'm sorry. Yes,
okay, no worries.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So, right. Thank you for correcting that. So I always found that it was easier and better for me to teach to the student.
Yes.
To spend some time to find out how the student learns. What how do I connect to the student? What makes them tick or her tick? Or, what gets them or whatever. So, now I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
But you had mentioned
how long did you teach?
19 years and 3/4.
19 years. And I remember you going through that process to get certified.
And do you remember why I went into teaching?
I think I do, but why don't you go ahead and tell that story? Then we're going to fast forward.
Okay. All right, I don't like to give you a lot of credit. But at the time, we had become so close and such close friends at Eastern. When you came back after all of your traveling and singing in Dubai and this thing and that, I mean, you just always amazed me, and I just love the way you didn't care what it was. When you saw something you wanted to do, you did it. You always had this beautiful singing voice. You loved jazz, and you just did what you did. Well, my voice was only good for me in the shower. So I said, I won't do that. But when you came back and you were working at Corliss High School, and I would come and see how you interacted with those high school kids, and when you do the drama stuff with them, when I saw you did the cheerleading, the pom-poms, the this, the that, and you were always so energetic, and you were always motivating everybody. I mean, it was like, I think I want to do that. I had never sat in your classroom, but I said, I think I want to be an English teacher. I think I want to do that. So, yeah, girl, you were my motivation. You were the one.
And you did it for 19 years, and so did I. 19 years. Yeah, but we're going to fast forward because I want to spend the last few minutes talking about what you're doing now. You have been here, and it's important for me to go here, building that foundation for who you are now and what you're doing now. I am so proud of you. You said you were inspired by me. I am so inspired by you. I am in awe of you. So why don't you just tell that story now?
Well, in that 19 3/4 years, it was time for retirement. The following September is when you and I went to Europe. Had a blast. We were there almost 4 weeks.
Yeah, Abraham Hicks.
Oh my gosh, it was
cruise.
Amazing. It was amazing. Came back from that, and in 2018, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm like, what the heck? Not on my watch. Breast cancer? Come on. I didn't go through all of this. 19 years and one trip. I'm supposed to be traveling. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be living my life.
Yes.
And I said, okay, well, let's deal with what we have to deal with. So fortunately, I was able to save my breast, but I had to have 2 surgeries to remove the cancer. And 5 lymph nodes. Well, I could barely lift my right arm after that. So I had this therapy and all. And right before I was taking a water aerobics class, right before I had the diagnosis. So I asked my surgeon, can I go back to water aerobics? I said, I'm just having so much trouble with this. And I just think, she says, water aerobics? Absolutely. Water is great therapy. Go, do what you can do. So I got into, so this is 2018. 2019, I finished my radiation therapies and all of that. I get the okay to go into water aerobics class. Don't you know we get COVID? Everything shuts down. Opens up again, I get in another water aerobics class. So I'm looking around in the deep end, and I'm seeing these folks, and they're just swimming, and they're having a ball in the deep end. I'm like, that looks like fun. Well, as a kid, you jump in the water, you're fearless, but I never knew how to freestyle, how to stroke, how to breathe, or anything. And because I was asthmatic, I wasn't supposed to be doing, like,
Yes.
sports like that.
Yes,
You can jump,
yes.
you can go to the pool and jump and splash around,
Yes.
but nothing that's going to be strenuous and
Right.
cause you an asthma attack or anything like that.
Right.
So I was always afraid of drowning. I would jump in the middle of the pool and swim to the side.
Yeah.
Because it was only like 3 strokes, whatever, to get there.
Right.
So I started taking swim lessons because
Yeah.
I said, I want to do this.
Uh-huh.
I'm fighting my fear of suffocating. I'm fighting my fear of drowning. I'm going to learn how to swim.
Yes.
COVID kept shutting the pools down, but every time they opened up, I got into another. And these are Chicago Park District classes.
I love Chicago Park District.
I just got into another
Yes.
class
Yes.
and started learning how to swim. I said, I'm going to swim, I'm going to swim, I'm going to swim. I got into Foster Park, and Malika was our lifeguard swim teacher. And she says, let's make, I need to get a team. We need to have a competitive team, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Yes. But she ended up leaving, and the team never really came to pass.
Okay.
But I had another opportunity at the Kroc Center, and I got it there and realized, there's Malika. She's back at the Kroc Center.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
she helped me with my swimming lessons again at the Kroc. And then Danny Pryor became my swim coach at the Mighty Crocs. So
Yes.
I started swimming, joined the U.S. Masters swim team.
Wow.
And started competing with them. So I did competition for about 3
Yeah.
years. And then I'm like, okay, what's next?
Ooh, I love
And
it.
yeah, so one of the neighbors on
Yeah.
the block that I grew up with was a scuba diver. She was originally a science teacher. Then she became a principal, retired, and learned to scuba, Margaret Carter. And she was at the Field Museum. And she was in that big old tank, feeding the fish, talking in the microphone, telling the kids about the corals and telling them
Oh
about
my
this. And I
gosh.
took my kids to see her. I took my grandkids to see her. And I said, one day when I grow up, I want to scuba dive too. Well, it turns out her coach, James Harold,
Yes.
still around, part of Team Windy City Seals, part of a black scuba club.
Yes.
Windy City Seals is still teaching, and he had a relationship with Diveheart organization.
Yes.
And Diveheart organization is, I'm actually wearing the shirt now, but Diveheart organization is a 25-year organization that helps adaptive divers, and an adaptive diver is a person basically with a physical or cognitive challenge, and they help them get in the water. They learn to scuba. They become certified as scuba divers, and then they have an adaptive dive buddy. Because anytime you dive, you got to dive with a buddy.
Yes,
yeah, you got to have somebody with you because
Yes.
you got for safety reasons.
For sure.
No solo divers unless you really want. So, so I started doing the training to become an adaptive dive
After
buddy.
you become a scuba diver.
Yes.
A scuba diver.
Oh, yeah,
That
and-
was a whole process, but we're going to go forward
Right,
because
yeah,
I got to
yeah,
get to
right. Because and that took 4 months
uh-huh.
because my primary care physician wasn't comfortable with me and my asthma, and I had an incident in January.
Uh-huh.
And so it took me 4 months between her and my pulmonologist and a new asthma therapy to be able to take the 90-minute Learn to Scuba intro to scuba class. But it took that long for me to get approved. So I had to do a pulmonary lung function test, and I passed that with flying colors, did the heart stress test,
Yeah.
passed that with flying colors. Doctor says, well, I wouldn't advise that you do this. I said, I'm really not looking for advice. I just need your
Signature, because my daddy told me if I can see it, I can be it. That's right.
So I did. So I got certified in June of 2025.
Yeah.
And I've just continued my my training. I've done buoyancy, peak performance for buoyancy.
Yeah.
And I'm working on my advanced open water diving And I'm also working on becoming an adaptive dive buddy. So it's the person that becomes the legs for a paraplegic, or equalizes for a quadriplegic who can't equalize because they have no movement. But we have people of all abilities and disabilities that are in this organization, and it is so. Jim Elliot is the founder. He started it 25 years ago when he took his daughter, who was born blind, on a skiing trip and taught her how to ski, blind skiing.
Yes.
And he saw, and it just changed her world. She had been kind of bullied because she had the thick glasses and all that. She didn't want to do that.
Indeed.
When she came back and became a skier, changed everything.
Of course.
No more bullying. Everybody now wants to be your friend, wants to know, So
now this has also led you back to
acting.
Another love.
Yes. I mean,
so tell me about that.
Okay.
We've in 5 minutes or less.
Okay, in 5 minutes or less, because I do have a gift for gab. 5 minutes or less.
No, you're fine.
I came back from Roatan, Honduras, which was my first ocean water dive after being certified. They said, "You're not a virgin anymore." I'm like, "No, I'm a real diver now."
Oh,
I'm not a virgin
Honduras.
diver. I'm a real diver.
All
right. So when I came back, I'm in the car or something. I get a telephone call, and it's Jim Elliot, the president of Diveheart. And is it him? It's either him or no, it is him. And he says, "Hey, I'm in Key Largo. I'm driving down the street with David Marsh." And I said, David Marsh. He's a film producer, but I'm going around because he's done some documentaries and stuff. Diveheart, and I just am on YouTube watching them all the time, right?
Yes.
So he says, "Yeah, I'm driving around with David Marsh, and we're doing this movie, and I recommended you." So then he gives the phone over to David, and David says, "Hi, Leslye. I'm David Marsh, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da." And he says, "We're doing a movie, and you come highly recommended by Jim, and he thinks that you would be the perfect Lois Newland." I'm like, "Oh." He's an actor. He says, "Would you consider?" I said, "Would I consider?" "Oh, heck yeah." I said, "I'm privileged. I'm honored. I would love to be a part of this movie," because the movie is based on the organization.
Yes, and what it does.
You're right, and it's a story that Jim Elliot had written some years ago, but never did anything basically with it. So David took the book, Sharing Air, rewrote the screenplay, and wrote this character, Lois Newland. I became Lois Newland. Lois Newland and myself have so many similarities. It wasn't even like I needed to learn how to act. I became her. She's a former school teacher, developed MS, was diagnosed with MS recently. It has progressed pretty quickly. She's frustrated because she had to give up her home and move in with her daughter and her husband. And her husband is dead. Her son is dead, and this is just not how she expected to see her life going. She thought she and her husband were going to be traveling around the world and all of this, and so it was tough. So she comes in with a really bad attitude, but she sees this guy, Jonathan Strong, on Channel 9, and he's talking about the scuba diving and how it can be so therapeutic for anybody. So so that's basically how Lois, my character, evolves. She becomes, he comes by, he starts talking to her about scuba, and she decides, yes, I want to do it.
I want to do it. So what was that experience like for you?
First of all, it's hard work. Don't let anybody tell you that acting is easy. It ain't easy. And
I think I know that.
Okay. And acting in a movie is a lot different from acting in a play.
Oh, yeah.
But what you told me when I came here, when I first got the part and got the screenplay, and I brought it here, and I was asking you for all the tips, and you were telling me about the 3x5 cars and this thing and that. But the one thing that you told me that stuck with me, and I tried to maintain it throughout, and that was being the character and staying in character.
Yeah.
And even when, if you make a mistake, if you miss a line or whatever, just stay in character, let them correct, and get right back in it. And I think I was so much of Lois, the character, that it became really easy. I mean, I felt her. I felt like what she was going through. I felt, when she was disgusted when this Roman guy comes in puffing on his doggone cigarette like he's the privileged white guy of the world. I'm like, not me, Lois.
Lois, yeah.
Yeah,
indeed.
But yeah. So I mean, I loved it. I loved the ability to become someone else, even though she was so close to me. And that's what I was going to say when I was teaching, because I had all of these special kids with needs who didn't want to present, who didn't want to come in front of the class. I told them to become someone else, and they would pretend, and they would tell me, put on a little card who they were going to be when they made this presentation. I said, you're not whatever your real name is. You're who. And they would pretend that they were somebody else just so they could get through the presentation. And so I was an English teacher, but I practiced with them to do that for their history class, for whatever class.
For whatever class.
And they came out of themselves, and they became who they needed to be to get through, whatever that was.
And isn't that what life is all about? We can switch roles to become whoever we want to be. I have heard your story. I so appreciate you for coming on. The movie is coming out in 2027, and we will keep looking for it.
And the movie is called Sharing Air
by David Marsh, and based on a novel by
Jim Elliot.
Yes. Leslye Logan, I so appreciate hearing your story. I heard nuggets I never heard before. You have had quite the journey, my dear.
Thank you. And I'm still on it.
Yes.
And loving every minute.
Loving
the ride.
Yeah.
Ooh, loving the ride. Yes.
Through the water, on land.
Up and down.
Next, you're going to be jumping out of an airplane. No. Oh, none of that. Okay. You can go in the water, and on land. Cool. That's good. Only time in the air on another plane, going on another trip.
Oh yes, that's.
Thank you so much for
you're so
sharing.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you out there. Remember, all stories matter. So tell your story. Ask questions of somebody else so that you can get to know their story. That's one of the greatest gifts we can give one another, is asking them, tell me your story. They might hesitate at first and say, I don't have anything. I'm not special. I don't have anything. Everybody's special, and everybody's story matters. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, bye-bye.